Welcome to the Start Something Show. Join world-renowned experts, change agents, and everyday folks who have done the amazing. All here to help you start something incredible. Now it's time to step out, live your perfect day, and create a legacy with your host, Tina Dietz.
Hey, Superstarter Tribe, it's Tina Dietz. How you doing this week? What's happening in your world? Did you know that you can reach out to me directly at tina@thestartsomethingshow.com and tell me how it's going for you, what guests you'd like to see, what topics you'd like us to cover? Did you know that? Well, now you do. So feel free to go ahead and shoot me an email personally about all of those things. And you know what? We love your contribution to the show. That's why we're here, to create a community hub of folks who are self-employed, who want to be self-employed, who are entrepreneurial, who are out there trying to make it happen in the world and who are making it happen in the world. Hey, nothing makes me happier than when somebody calls me or emails me and says, thank you so much for offering this guest up or giving us this tip. I used it and I got results. That's what we live for here at Start Something. So shoot us an email anytime. Today on the show, we are going to be having our Superstarter of the Month, as well as talking with the lovely and wonderful Tamara Green, a phenomenal love and relationship expert who's going to be sharing with us how relationships are the underpinning of everything that we do in life and how to make those relationships more awesome in general, whether that's business, whether that's love, whether that's our relationship with ourselves. So before we get to that, let me get over to our Superstarter of the Month. And this month, our Superstarter of the Month is Donald W. Scott. Don is a licensed massage therapist in New York. But more than that, he is also a Qigong, I'd call him a master. He'd call himself a teacher. And he also is a renowned teacher for the worldwide organization, the Lily Dale School of Spirituality in southern tier of New York there, which is a really amazing facility if you've ever been there. Now, when I first met Don, he was the invisible man. It really was amazing. He could be in a room and you would quite literally never notice that he was there unless you really he wanted you to notice him. He had an incredible superpower. But over the course of the year that I knew Don, something really amazing happened. He was already a fantastic teacher, a fantastic healer, and what he decided to do was to step out of his shell and allow himself to teach and to lead and let his voice be heard. So he went from retiring from an engineering position and having a part-time massage therapy practice to being the president of his local holistic chamber of commerce, to speaking and teaching being his primary career and income all over Western New York, and to having not one, not two, but 3 locations out of which he teaches Qigong and his healing practice as an incredible body worker and massage therapist. Don Scott, you are a wonder, and I feel honored to know you and have you be our Superstarter of the Month. If you want to connect with Don and you're in the Western New York area, or even if you're not and you want to connect about the Holistic Chamber of Commerce or his speaking engagements with spiritual schooling, you can reach him at donaldwscott.com. If you have a Superstarter of the Month that you would like to nominate, get over to thestartsomethingshow.com and just contact us through the Contact Us page. Imagine that, contacting someone through a Contact Us page. Whoa. And let us know why you want to nominate someone and how to reach them. And if we choose them and announce them on the air, we want to acknowledge you for nominating someone great and bringing them to our attention. So make sure, get over to the website and tell us who is awesome. Well, my Superstarters, today we are going to talk relationships, the fundamental underpinnings of all life and business as far as I'm concerned. And I am really happy to have on the show today Tamara Green. Tamara is a loving relationship expert, a psychotherapist, a mediation facilitator, and a certified past life regression hypnotherapist. She helps singles to find their soulmates and couples to heal their relationships, all while authentically falling in love with themselves. themselves in the process. And Elle Magazine has called her the soul-centered love expert. So she's a very exciting person to talk with for profound healing and has really devoted her life to helping people rise up out of the pain and the fear into having this abundant life and abundant relationships, not just with other people, but with ourselves. And Tamara is married to her soulmate, David, and they have 2 amazing children. You can find out all kinds of wonderful things about Tamara and her work and her extremely well-written blog that I really enjoy at tamaragreen.me. Tamara, thank you for starting something with me today.
Thank you, Tina. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yeah, me too. Let's go ahead and dive right into the meat of the matter here. When did you decide to change your life and start something?
Oh boy, that's such a good question. Probably when I dramatically switched careers from corporate to, getting my master's. So I was about 30 years old and getting my master's in social work because I knew that it was time to do what I was meant to do here on this earth, and that's to really help people. And so I became a psychotherapist after that.
And what made you want to take that jump? That's quite a leap from corporate to the helping professions.
I was miserable. I was so miserable in corporate. And, I knew for a fact I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was doing what pleased my parents until they realized that I was so not doing well. And then they said, you know what? Go for it. Whatever you want to do, go for it. But I was trying to, make money and make them feel good about my, that I was secure financially. But I sure wasn't happy in my heart at all. So
Right. The whole look, mom, look, dad, I'm making it conversation.
I sold everything, every bit of furniture and everything. I moved from Los Angeles, moved to New York. And I'm not kidding you, I came to New York with $36 in my pocket. That's how powerful my vision and my dream was to, start fresh, start new. And I was,
Wow. And
30.
Did you do that before or after you started grad school?
Right before, because right after is when I, got my graduate degree. I was actually about 28. And then by the time I was 30, I graduated from graduate school and launching into that whole new career.
Beautiful. Now, why work with couples and singles? Why work with relationships? What's the draw there?
I did a postgraduate training after I got my master's for about 5-6 years, like 5.5 years with, it's called Ackerman Institute for Couples and Family Therapy. And I just loved working with those couples, families too, but there was something about the energy and the dynamics of working with a couple. And then the satisfaction that they would be communicating so much better, or that they would come to a decision about what they wanted to do, whether it was to stay or go, but they found some peace and happiness in their decision. But most of them, I have to say, actually worked things out and stayed together, even if there were affairs or whatever. So it was so satisfying. I just really very excited about it. I think I like a lot of energy, and there's a ton of energy in a couple session.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. So true. Way different than running a solo session. Now, I'm curious about something else, too. Most folks who are in the psychotherapy professions, and my background is as a therapist as well, they have their practices or they're working inside of a clinic or whatever the case may be, but you chose at some point to expand out from that and become an expert and reach beyond your local community. Why did you choose to do that, and kind of how did that happen for you?
Well, I think I have to take a second here and talk about my mission, which is to be love in action, to be in a love, revolution, or to have I keep having this vision of like global love fest. Yay, love fest. So I knew it was time. I mean, you know what happens when you get those, those inner guidance. It's a voice inside of my head that just won't shut up until I do it. So that was happening when I've had a private practice now for 25 years, but what was happening is like okay, it's time to reach out and take the next level up. It's time to reach out and take the next level up, the next level up. And I kept hearing it and hearing it. Finally, after 2 years of hearing that, I finally did something about it. So I decided, let me just open up to the world and become a love coach, a love and relationship mentor for, I could work on phone and Skype and reach well beyond New York where my practice is. So
that's really cool. So what are some of the first steps you did? Because, we're all about starting something here. What are some of the first steps you took to make that shift?
I took a training specifically for love coaching, a training with a wonderful woman, my mentor. Her name is Diana Kirshner. And that was an incredible experience. So it just opened me up to the whole, love coaching world. So that was the first thing I did. But I have to say, I'm going to be really authentic here. I mean, I was scared.
No, you're ahead of me. That's the next thing we're going to talk about here.
I was so scared. Everything, it was just stepping into that unknown. And I was, well, you know what? I don't know. I've realized that there's two different kinds of fear. There's the dread, really dread kind of fear when you're in the middle of an accident, let's say, and you're really fearful for your life or somebody else's life. It's not that kind of fear. The kind of fear I was really experiencing was that kind of excitement fear, like you're getting ready to go on a really wild ride kind of fear, but it's the same kind of energy fear in your body. Yeah. It feels scary because your adrenaline is pumping and all that, but it was a real excitement. My life was just opening up like a huge lotus flower, I guess, and it was just, the possibilities were endless. So I was really stepping into my discomfort zone, but going for it anyway.
That's awesome. And that's really the thing. It's expanding out beyond what we really know, what we're really comfortable with. Otherwise, we don't grow. Even the couples that you work with and the singles that you work with, they have to step out too, right?
Absolutely. That's it. I'm so glad I had that experience because, I can say from experience, hey, this is what it takes. If you want to step into a loving relationship, you do have to step out of your comfort zone. There's just no question about it. That's all of what life is about anyway. If you're reaching higher, you are going to be nervous. It's just the way it is.
Yes, my kids would call it nearsighted. The feeling when you're nervous and excited at the same time. We're nearsighted.
I love that. I may quote them, by the way.
Feel free.
I like that.
Oh, that's great. As they say, the course of true love never did run smooth. I don't know if that was Shakespeare or just random. But, on your own professional journey, stepping into this new role and developing out, becoming a really well-known expert in this area. What are some of the either, let's call them epic failures or setbacks that you've had to deal with and how that may have impacted your trajectory?
I would have to say I get super excited about something and I'm there, I'm committed, I'm there. And just when I'm about to reach it, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Wait, what happened? I kind of put the brakes on and I start slowing down. I'm like, whoa, what's happening? So I would have to say that that's probably, I don't know if you would call it a failure, but it's just a behavioral trait that I've really had to work on.
Now that is a therapist answer right there.
That I really had to work on. It's
a behavioral trait.
So that
That's great.
And I'll just give you an example. I've had a book, and it is so close to being done. I had a book that was supposed to launch last year, but, I started getting busy with other projects. And that's kind of, it's great for other projects. I get them done. But the big one, the big kahuna one is still like ready to launch. So I would have to say, that's the thing that it keeps coming up, but it's okay because I keep kind of chipping away at it and I keep forgiving myself. It's okay, Tamara. It's okay. You're doing the best you can, or else you'd be doing better. So it's okay. I forgive you. I love and accept you anyway.
Exactly. Well, because we're nothing if we're not human, right? That's the core. That's the essence of everything. And, I like to teach people how to procrastinate better. Because you know what? I do the same thing. You get like 6 projects going on. So I usually tell people exactly how you're doing it, Tamara. Whatever project has you the most confronted Okay, you can allow it to confront you. But if you have a bunch of other projects, they're more likely to get done because you're confronted by this other project. So you're going to look to avoid it, and you can still get a lot done.
Hey, I
So
like
it's
that.
actually a productivity hack inside of our own procrastination and being confronted.
So, it's screw failure. I mean, it's not failure at all.
It's a coping mechanism.
It's a coping mechanism with a whole bunch of successes in there.
That's right.
Because I have
exactly.
gotten so much done.
Exactly. And I always tell people, I say, how clean is your closets right now? I can tell the level of your resistance by how clean your closets are.
Mine are so clean. And cleared out. Do you know I have the donor people, they come to your home and pick up they come once a month.
There you go. Keeping your space clear. Absolutely. That's cool. But you have done a lot of publishing. You have done a lot of speaking. And I was really loving, you recently went to Japan. And I thought that some of the insights that you were writing about in your blog were really brilliant. I was wondering if you would kind of share some of that those pieces of mindfulness. So much of being successful has to do with paying attention.
Absolutely. They really astounded me in terms of how they just reinvent themselves after, and I just found out Kyoto had another big earthquake. I don't think it had a huge amount of damage, I don't think. But
I hope not.
They just, I would ask them, wow, the tsunami, I was looking at the map and I was talking to one of the tour guides and wow, this whole shoreline. I mean, it was, miles and miles and miles of shoreline was just wiped out by the tsunami. Like, what do you think about that? And it was just, she looked at me like, well, we moved on. It's just the way they just reinvent themselves every day. They just don't look back. They move forward and they accept what happened and they don't resent it or focus on it. They just move forward. I was so impressed with that. So I really took that back with me in terms of just, well, you know what? Yesterday's gone and today is here. So what am I going to do with today that'll help me today and tomorrow and beyond? So I just loved their attitude about that.
It's really valuable just to be able to stay in the present moment like that and then allow yourself to move on to something new. That letting go of attachment. Now let's bring this back around to relationships, though, because I always tell people, and I firmly believe that relationships are the basis of anything getting done in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Anything. So for starting something, we got to look at our relationship. So what do you tend to find that you run into when you're working with folks who are looking to start something new in those transition points?
In terms of relationships?
Yeah, in terms of relationships, they're looking to make a change because I find that, if somebody is in a marriage and they decide to start a business, let's say, that can really have a big impact on that relationships. Do you have any advice for people to stay together and stay firm and loving in the face of big changes happening in their lives?
Yeah, it's such a great question. And I may be able to use my own, personal experience for this example as well. When I made that change from just, private practice to then jumping into coaching as well, because what happened is my schedule really got intense because, here I'm Skyping people, in Greece. And so I had to sort of adjust my schedule. I would see clients at night because it was, such different time change. And my family at first was, my two kids and my husband were kind of upset with me. So I had to jump into their shoes and imagine what it was like for them. And they certainly were going through their own, maybe they weren't even aware of it, but their own fear. And I had to go ahead and keep opening that conversation of what's this like for you? I'm just not so readily available at night anymore, or I'm a lot busier now, or whatever. What is this like for you? And it really opened up some beautiful, touching, and quite open conversations, which I'm really glad that we had because it even deepened our relationship. And I also was able to share what was really important for me. And it was probably the first time that they really got to hear this kind of stuff from me. Because, as a mother, as a wife, it was really all about them. And I was switching over to, okay, now I'm really doing something that is huge and very important to me, and I want you to support it now. So jumping into their shoes, understanding that they're probably operating from fear if change is involved. And then also, everything stems from love or fear anyway, the source of love or fear. So it was that when you're thinking of relationships, if you're asking yourself, okay, that thing that they just said, instead of me getting defensive or bringing the energy back over to me, let me just stay over there, really listen to everything they have to say first, and just stay over there and even say, so what I'm hearing you say is, and then repeat it back just so you keep your energy over there with them. So they're feeling very heard and understood. And then once it's clear that you get what they're saying, they say, yeah, you understand what I'm saying, then their kind of defenses are down and they're able to hear what you have to say. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, Tina. Okay.
No, you are. I'm hearing a lot of things, like you said, really opening the lines of communication, staying inside of its space of compassionate listening, allowing them to say their piece, allowing them to clear and just get the space that they're in. And then, sharing with them also from the heart, your commitment, your intention, what's important to you. And then it's not focused on fixing or changing anything. Anything that might shift might just arise naturally in that conversation out of that mutual sharing, because so many times we make assumptions about what the other person wants or needs, but we don't know. And so many times it's just a matter of hearing, being heard. And I love that that's so much that focus. It's really important. And I've been through the same process many times as a wife and mom too. And I think a lot of us women entrepreneurs in particular, not that men don't, but women in particular deal with that mommy guilt.
Big time.
When we're stepping out and doing things for ourselves. Yeah. What would you say to women in particular, or just people experiencing those concerns around shifting your role and stepping into a new role?
It's really about... I tell this to women all the time in relationships. I don't think we get that it's really okay to make demands. And I don't mean to be a kind of biatch while you're making demands. I don't mean like that.
I love that you're saying this. Keep going, please.
It's okay to state what it is that, rocks your boat, or wait, that's not right. That really, what am I trying to say? That really
floats your boat.
Thank you, not rocks your boat.
Floats your boat, rocks your world.
Go.
Yeah. There we go.
So it's okay to demand that. In fact, when it comes right down to it, and this is what was so wonderfully surprising, is that my family, once they really got, I was so excited about this, and this is what I wanted to do. They were like, well, cool. Okay, wonderful. So how can we support you in this? They really made a real switch once they heard what was important to me, because I, quite honestly, I wasn't very good about vocalizing that. I was really all about, what do you want? How can I support you? What do you need? Let me be, again, the good wife, the good mother kind of thing. So this was a first for them as well. So, I want to back up a second, because before you said assumption, sometimes when we're not really actively listening to family members or even people at work or whatever, we're already forming our opinion or our point of view or our defense or whatever it is. And we make these assumptions, even when we ask a question, what they're going to say. And it's too bad that we do that. And I'm going to ask people not to do that. And so what you really listen with kind of a fresh pair of ears, with interest, with even curiosity and even appreciation. Just whatever comes out of their mouth, instead of like, you're going to hear me talk about energy, because I've been seeing energy ever since I was 5. I can see where energy is, whether it's contracting or expanding. And when somebody's talking, I can feel what they're talking about is a very contractive energetic experience or an expansive energetic experience. So if you just feel what it feels like to assume, it feels pretty contracting right away, doesn't it? It feels like,
yes,
the energy just kind of...
It even contracts your facial muscles. Assume, that it brings it right in.
Exactly. Even
close.
the word, assume. It's just kind of like
it's really a terrible word.
It comes right in. So immediately you're operating from fear. If it's a contractive energy, it's operating from the source of fear. So as soon as you notice that, you go, oh, wait. Okay, I think I'm, operating from fear in this moment. So let me switch it over now to how can I be love in action right now? How can I turn the source into love from what I'm operating from is what I mean, into love. So that would be like, well, let me get interested in what they're saying. Let me get curious. Let me even appreciate what they're saying and really get into it. Just settle yourself in and listen. And it's amazing what it does for relationships. Amazing.
Tara, I'm so glad that you're bringing this to the table because it's something that people can really use right away.
Especially for women.
And really just start to practice. Just start to practice it. We're so worried about what other people are going to say or what other people are going to think. You know what? 99% of the time, we're the ones making up the bad stuff. And communication, and you find out what the real scoop is. It's pretty much almost never as bad as you think it's going to be.
Never, and it's never personal. Never.
Yes. So true. So true. Well, now, if you were just starting out today, let's say you were starting over now instead of, back in the past, and you could make some recommendations to folks who wanted to get started. What are some of the first things you would do to start something today that you'd recommend that other people do too?
Probably several things, but I think I would get a mentor. I would get a mentor to keep my feet to the fire, keep my goals in front of me. It's amazing. I mean, they even have studies on this stuff that show how much more successful somebody is when they have somebody behind them all the way or leading them or, I don't know, right next to them, being their cheerleader and pointing them in the direction of what your goal is. So that would be one. The other is my family thought I was nuts when I did this, but I'm telling you, it completely changed my world in the most beautiful way. What I did is all around the house, I put those Post-it notes, those sticky notes all over the house, every room, even on the refrigerator, even in my medicine cabinet. The universe has my back. The universe has my back. So what happens is you're going to step into something new and you are going to hit obstacles. I call it PAR. It's progressive abreaction, whatever. I can never say it right, but basically it's par for the course. You're going to run into obstacles, period. That's just the way it is. But when you know, and you keep reminding yourself every time you walk into a room or look at your iPhone or on the computer, it's going to say, the universe has my back. Like, oh yeah, that's right. The universe has my back. What am I worried about? It's okay. Just take a deep breath and relax. The universe has my back. That's right. And you just keep reminding yourself. And doing that really, for me, it took about 2 months of having those Post-it notes up around my house. And people would come and visit and go, what are those notes? And then I would tell them all about it. But it just started something. My friends started doing it. And it really made a difference because you're just constantly reminding yourself, oh, that's right. There's no one against me here. The universe really does have my back. Cool.
Yeah, that's a powerful reminder and a powerful structure to keep that in our space. The more we have those positive voices in our heads, the more they stay in our heads.
So I guess, to sum that up, don't do it alone. It's harder to do it alone. It's going to take longer. It's going to be more difficult and arduous.
Oh, so true.
Go ahead, get a mentor or a friend or somebody who's going to help you kind of, right there with you. So you're not alone in doing this. And the other is just have something like that, like a Post-it note or something that really keeps reminding you, oh, that's right. You know what? It's okay. The universe really does have my back. Supports me, loves me.
That's fantastic. Now, Tamara, are you going to stick around with us to do some backstage pass and go a little deeper into some of this work around love and relationships?
Absolutely.
Yay. Okay. Well, Superstarters, you can connect with Tamara directly. She has a very generous consultation connection. You can talk with her about your relationships, talk about what you're dealing with, whether you're single or in a couple, at tamaragreen.me, and definitely check out her blog as well. Phenomenal information there. And of course, join us on the Backstage Pass, where we're going to deep dive into Tamara's work and into the work of really having phenomenal relationships. Tamara, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. This is great.
All right. Thank you. All right, Superstarters, we'll see you next week.
Start something with purpose. Start something with freedom. Start something now. Go to thestartsomethingshow.com, join our community of superstarters, and get your perfect day planner pack, a free resource to help you create the life you've dreamed of living. Take action now, and we'll see you for our next exciting episode.